evening and welcome to Tinkering with Edkelar. Last episode I started the tube tester restoration with some serious disassembly. This time let's see how and if stuff goes back together. Reassembling the meter was a bit fiddly. Getting the adjustments between the jewels just right so that nothing wobbles or binds up while still tightening the counter nuts. Very taxing. And a dab of oil. Now to the moment of truth. Does it work? Yes. Is it accurate? Not at all. Bummer. The 4 mA only gets the meter up to about 3/4 of the scale. It seems that the permanent magnet lost quite a bit of magnetism. Maybe the rust was part of the program? Well, I had to stick on some neodymium magnets to the old one to boost it. Moving them around a bit allowed for exact tuning of the 4 mA mark. It's back, baby! The potentiometers needed cleaning too. There's one that adjusts the expected test current for the readout, labeled C control, and two that calibrate the device on the inside. All of them were oxidized and had dead spots. Took lots of careful cleaning to get them working smooth again. The power potentiometer for the primary adjustment was okay, so I just cleaned and greased the shaft. The push buttons also get some TLC, new grease and, for good measure, a new set of bumpers, because the old ones were compressed to the level of uselessness. And another victim of oxidation. The toggle switch for the neon indicator sensitivity toggled between nope and no way. I had to open it to sand off the little bridge element so it would make contact again. Replacing the capacitor. No need to fret around with that one. The rusted base plate and brackets are a sore sight. I decided to paint them and tried a new primer for zinc-based metals, which turned out to be way too thick, and the paint job isn't the best I could hope for. But at least it doesn't come off and will prevent further rusting. That's good enough for me. Some older tubes have caps. That is, contacts on the top edge. The tester comes with 3 leads and 2 different styles of connectors for those, but they are quite oxidized. Dremel to the rescue! Also, new silicone wire. That 3K 2-watt resistor is so heavily oxidized that it won't take the solder and is practically falling out of the old solder joint. That took some time to persuade. The switchboard is the most boring component so far. I find it annoying to have to do the same thing over and over again, 10 times in this case. Cleaning the levers, adding a bit of oil to the movement and grease to the detents. That should make them smooth again. I couldn't disassemble them as the levers are riveted in place. And now, reassembly, starting with the meter and main buttons, including the wiring loom. There are 5 external connectors for battery testing, the leakage test, and to pull out audio for a noise test, which is pretty much the voltage across the current shunt in the test circuit. The old contacts are, like with the VTVM, a strange version that is not very useful, so I replaced those with 4mm banana jacks too. Then the transformer. Oh my god, origami soldering. I wonder if anybody out there ever made a combination endoscope and soldering iron? Some of these leads are extremely short and cut to length, so there is no decent way of holding the soldering iron. Handles have some leaf springs to hold on to the levers, but one seems to have sprung. A bent washer is doing fine as a replacement though. First test without the tube parts connected, the battery tester. Checks out fine. We are off for a good start. What I call the tube database, a rolled up piece of very thin paper, needed some cleaning too. Also some oil and grease. Although I can't grease up all the wheels because one of them is the actual thumb wheel on the outside. But it totally works very smooth now. I added a washer to move the thumb wheel a smidge away from the case as it was rubbing up against it before. Oh, and the transparent cover sheet, all wrinkled and yellowed. I cut out a new sheet from a piece of packing material and transferred the marker lines to the inside of it so they won't rub off. Did I say the switchboard was boring? Well, I haven't started the tube sockets then. Ow! Connecting 10 leads across all of them, with some sockets having fewer pins, was a challenge. At least I started to finally memorize the layout of the pin numbers. One of the mounting screws snapped off. Darn! The closest replacement I found was a countersunk version, but it fits and now doubles up as a connector for the ground lead. I found a calibration guide online, link in the description. First, calibrating the meter for line adjustment. Manually dial in the 300 volt on the line adjustment pot and then adjust the internal trimmer to make the meter show center. Next and final step, calibrating the tube test readout. I don't have a proper current spec, so I follow the calibration guide that says to use a known good tube and adjust the trimmer for 3/4 readout, i.e. 75%-ish. Here's how to do a battery test. Put the device in battery test mode, select the battery voltage according to a table, and then put the battery across the test terminals. The meter readout shows good or bad. Simple enough, but you need the cheat sheet for the voltages and you need to take care of the polarity or you will bury the needle. Tube test. Turn on the device and adjust for line voltage. Turn off again. Look up the tube model in the database. Set the controls according to the test instructions A, B, C. D is the filament pin switch. Then connect the tube and turn on the tester. The tube should heat up and draw current, so readjust for line voltage. Now, one pin after the other, except the heater and open ones, should be put into short test. If the neon indicator stays lit rather than briefly flashing, the tube has a short on that pin. Next, put the pins indicated as F selected to the F position and hit the read meter button. Now the indicator should say good or bad. Note that diodes have a special scale with more good. This has been a rather lengthy one again, but I am now the proud owner of a working tube tester. And it looks and works almost factory new. Can't wait to see the faces on people when I bring out this one to do some battery testing. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this project. See you next time! And a dab of oil, and a dab of oil, dab, da dab, da dab, da dab, dab.